Hi, I here. This is a reading for the sign of Cancer. We're going to do a Celtic cross spread with the huge tarot deck, and what we see on the bottom of the deck is going to represent what you don't see coming. And once we get an idea of what the general message of this reading is going to be, we're going to pull 3 cards from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your subconscious and to see if there's any further clarifications we might need. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so today we are tuning in to the sign of Cancer. So if that is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, or however else you choose today to identify with the sign of Cancer, you can use that as a way to interpret the messages that are coming through. And as always, if the details of these messages don't fit, that's okay. Do not force them. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if none of the details seem to fit your life or your situation, that's okay. You can always check your other placements, or you can stick around and see what's going on in the world of other Cancers. So let's see what messages we can get today. What things should we think about? Is there anything we should meditate upon? Any things we can reflect on and just sort of think more deeply about? Are there any warnings that we need to see? Are there things that we should try to avoid? Things we should try to not put our energy into? Or are there things that we should put our energy into? Things we want to move towards that might make our lives a little easier, a little happier, whatever it is you're looking for. What messages can we get today for those who are trying to tune in to the energy of the sign of Cancer? So we're going to be using the huge tarot deck today. Just felt like going back to this old deck. As I've said before, this is my oldest. This is my first tarot deck, and I just really feel a nice connection with it. So for this round of readings, instead of the Thoth deck, we're going to use the huge deck, I felt. So let's see what our Celtic cross can tell us this time. Okay, that feels pretty good. So let's see what the message is today. So in the present moment, we start with the Ace of Swords. Clarity, some precision of thought, perhaps a new idea, or maybe breaking free of some blockage that you were experiencing before. But just like that sword there is a sort of sharp tool to cut forward against whatever is sort of obstructing you. This is what perhaps you are feeling in your mind. Again, if you've been feeling sort of cluttered in your head or feeling any sort of blockages, creative or just intellectual blockages, preventing you from, thinking things through or figuring out something you're kind of worried about, this is the insight that allows you to move forward. So let's put that in some context. We have the Hermit. So, with those 2 cards together, I'm thinking that perhaps you are in a period of deep self-reflection. Perhaps whatever is bothering you, the way to get around that fogginess, if you haven't already, is to take some time alone, right? To just sit quietly, reflect upon whatever it is that's bothering you, and try to get some insights by just sitting quietly with your own thoughts, okay? Or maybe you have recently done this. Maybe in a period leading up to the moment that we are in now, you have been sort of cluttered and blocked, and this is what has allowed you to get that clarity, okay? So this could either be a suggestion to take some time to quietly self-reflect, or it could be a signal that that is exactly what was needed to get you to wherever you are going now. So let's get some more context here. Let's see the rest of our cross. Okay, we have a 7 of Wands, a 6 of Swords, a 10 of Swords, the World, the Chariot, the Devil, the 3 of Cups, and the Three of Pentacles. So we'll see what's on the bottom of this deck after we look at the rest of our cross here. Let's just get an idea of what the general message is going to be. So, as I said, we begin with the Ace of Swords, this clarity of thought, and it's crossed by the Hermit. So like I said, my initial impression here is that something has perhaps been bothering you and you needed some clarity, so taking a little bit of a time out and just sitting with your thoughts is the way to get beyond this. Now, coming off of the Seven of Wands in the recent past, perhaps you were being challenged by something. Perhaps you felt like you were correct about something. Maybe you were trying to stand your ground about a position you were trying to hold. And I'm getting the sense that it maybe didn't work out. So I think that whatever that might mean for you in your situation, you were probably, taking a hard stance that you felt was the right thing to do, whether this was an action or an opinion, or maybe you're working with other people and trying to plan something. But I get the vibe that you were in a situation where you had decided what you felt was the right thing to do, and you felt like if you followed your gut or your opinion on this matter, it was going to work out. And I get the sense that it probably didn't. And so I think with the Hermit, I think this is telling you that maybe what the solution to this problem was to take some time to maybe compare yourself with what other people were doing, or maybe that was the blockage itself. Maybe the reason that you felt what you were doing was correct is because in comparison to other people and what they were doing, it felt like you were doing the right thing. But then perhaps maybe when you stepped away from that and you looked at how this was, how this opinion or whatever this action, whatever this was that you were trying to stand strong and firm about, when you took it out of context and looked at it a little bit more closely, that might have given you an observation that you were sort of blinded to before. And I think that's where we get this Ace of Swords energy. Again, this is the clarity of thought, and together with the Hermit, I think this clarity comes from taking something out of context and looking at it more closely. And as this is followed by the Six of Swords, I think this clarity is productive. This isn't just like, oh, I was wrong and everything is ruined now. No, with the Six of Swords, this is a card of sort of reevaluating. It's in the Thoth deck, this is the Science card. This is the card of taking your insights and comparing them with perhaps your successes and failures and then figuring out how to move forward. A lot of times this card is shown, as we see here, with a boat in the water that is moving forward. And so it's an idea that perhaps we are going to move forward on some journey, or perhaps we are getting unstuck and we can now flow down this river because we have gotten new clarity of thought that allows us to reevaluate our original position. So again, I feel like you were in a position where you were probably feeling very passionate or very... I'm almost feeling a little strong-headed about a particular issue, but by taking this out and sort of looking at it more closely and taking some time alone with it, you've learned to reevaluate and grow and move forward with whatever this was for you. And down here, I think this is even further emphasized by this Ten of Swords, because the way I usually read the Ten of Swords is it's a card, it is a card of painful endings. But really what the Ten of Swords is all about is it's showing weaknesses. And not necessarily your weaknesses, but just it's taking mental energy and using it to sort of see what can take the sort of stress. If you're thinking of some kind of scaffolding, if there's a weak point and a big gust of wind hits that weak point, the whole thing can tumble down. And so the Ten of Swords is a card about, well, let's not be delicate here. Let's blow all of those weak points down and see what's left standing. It's clearing out weaknesses so that what's left over can stand stronger and we can build upon it and grow something more strong or structurally sound going forward. So again, with this idea here, I think I'm kind of getting the vibe that this is probably a work thing. Perhaps someone that you've been working with. I mean, it could be a social situation, but again, you probably had some kind of conflict between what you felt was the right way to handle something, and someone disagreed with it. And after taking some time out and really thinking this through, you realized that perhaps some of the things that you were holding on to were not necessarily things that you really needed to hold on to. And so as we follow this axis up, to the top here, we see the World card, which is usually a card of some cycle completing. So I think what is happening here is that whatever you were potentially wrong about in this situation, which it never feels good to be wrong, but again, this is positive movement forward. I feel like this is really a statement about learning to accept the weaknesses in your own thinking. And if the Seven of Wands is a card about sort of standing your ground and having the high ground and taking a stance on something that you know is going to work out, that is only going to be successful if you really do test the weaknesses of that idea. And I think that's what is happening here. Is I think you had something that you felt strongly about. I don't even necessarily think you're wrong about whatever this was for you, but you're realizing that there were some weak points in whatever this idea was that you were holding on to, and you're now accepting the fact that those weaknesses need to be let go of, some reevaluation needs to occur, and you're going to be closing the door on whatever it was that was not working in this situation. Now, I'm being very general here, but with anything you've been struggling with lately, if you have not already had this breakthrough, my suggestion would be to look at the details of whatever you're working on and try to figure out if it can be done better by letting go of aspects of that plan or project that aren't really working, things that are just sort of dead weight. Let those go, and the project will be more successful going forward. And with the Chariot here, I think you're in the energy of wanting to move forward. You're in the mode of wanting to progress forward with whatever this project or situation is. But again, in order for the Chariot to really work properly, we need to get everything in alignment. So there is this white horse and there is this black horse, and these are really two different sort of extremes of how to approach something. So I think whatever you're reevaluating here, whatever you're working on, as you're letting go of the things that don't work, you're sort of retuning this. If you were to think of this as a car, you're kind of getting the engine sort of tuned back up. You're taking out parts that aren't working, and you're getting everything just smoothly in alignment, making sure everything's balanced and properly calibrated. You're getting rid of parts that don't work, maybe replacing them with things that are better. And again, with this World card, we're really closing out this chapter so that we can move on to the next thing. But again, that comes with really taking seriously the lessons you've learned from whatever you've decided doesn't work in this situation. And so that's the present energy. You're wanting to move forward, and so you're going through the work of trying to do this recalibration. Again, the Six of Swords and the Chariot, to me, are both together giving this sense of forward movement. But I'm still feeling a little resistance here with the Devil, because the Devil is very much a card of resistance. I do feel like there is a certain amount of pride in this situation. Again, with the Seven of Wands there, I feel like in the past you felt like you were like 100% correct about this, and this is really a call to look, maybe swallow your pride a little bit and accept the fact that maybe there are things that can be done better if you listen to other people's feedback. Again, maybe taking that time out, reflecting upon how the situation makes you feel might allow you to be a little bit more open to hearing other people's points of view and giving you more clarity with that Ace of Swords there. But I am feeling a resistance here to listen to feedback of other people. But again, if you want to move forward and constructively, that's what needs to be done. And this is even further emphasized by that 3 up there. That 3 of Cups is the card of working together. It's a celebration, as is depicted there, but it also is a card about networking and working with other people in a positive, constructive way. So with the Devil here in the environment and the 3 of Cups in the challenge, I really do think that the hardest part of this is sort of, like I said, swallowing your pride, realizing that you might not have been 100% correct in how this was going to be done. But if you take that seriously and you keep an open mind and you work with other people constructively, you'll be able to do really good things here, is the vibe I'm getting. And for the outcome there at the top, we have a 3 of Pentacles, right? So the challenge here, I think, is really working in a positive way with other people. But if you can overcome that challenge, let go of your pride that might be holding you back from, moving forward in this Chariot, then you can move into the 3 of Pentacles and you can actually work constructively with other people. And actually, like, this is the struggle of working with people on an emotional level. You may not necessarily get along very well with the people you're working with. And that might be why it's so challenging to move from the 7 of Wands energy into the 6 of Swords, is because, Maybe it's even the case that you kind of are right, but like the method in order to get it accomplished isn't going to work if you're trying to do it in a certain way with other people. So again, learn to sort of step back, swallow your pride, take feedback from other people, acknowledge the weak points of whatever this is that you're working on, and close out those cycles that aren't working rather than trying to keep this, like, you don't want to get stuck on a hamster wheel just trying to do something again and again and again that's not working. Reevaluate what doesn't work, let go of what doesn't work, learn to work with other people, and that is what will get us to that Three of Pentacles up there, where we can start really getting effective work done again. We can start producing results. The Three of Pentacles there is taking an idea and working with other people to make it a physical reality. Okay, so again, you might not get along with the people you have to work with. You don't have to really get along with them other than to get the job done, but if you can sit down and get that accomplished, then I think you'll be moving in a very positive direction. So that's the message I'm getting here today. So let's see what you don't see coming here. The Strength card. Yeah, so that makes some sense because, I mean, one aspect of the Strength card is not just about being assertive and aggressive and stepping into your strength. It's about balancing your power with a certain amount of sensitivity. And so if the issue here is that you're struggling to work with other people, whether they're right or wrong, regardless, just trying to get a job done because you're a team and you have to work together, just at the end of the day, you've all got to get along and get the job accomplished. In order to do that, that takes a certain amount of personal strength. You have to learn to be able to correct other people and tell them what they need to hear, but you have to do it in a way that is, gentle. If you just tell everyone why they're wrong and tell them everything they can't do correctly, no one's going to listen to you because they're just going to think of you as a bully. They're going to think that you're mean, and it's not going to be constructive. The better way to go about it is to use your strengths to point out the things that you know work and the things that don't work, but do it in a way that that people can be receptive to. Balance that aggressiveness with that gentleness, and you'll get an effective communication style that'll allow you to get that Three of Pentacles job accomplished. It'll allow you to get over the difficulty of working with other people, and it'll allow you to sort of pull back some of that Seven of Wands pride so that you can get the job done. Even if you are the hermit and you know that what you are doing is the right way to get it done, sometimes trying to force other people to do exactly what you want to do is not going to be effective. So again, if we are going to take seriously the things that are maybe not working in this situation, the more I look at this now, I'm getting the vibe that it's not necessarily that you're wrong. It's more so that you have to reevaluate how you are accomplishing, communicating your ideas to other people in terms of getting things done. Okay, so if you wanna get things done, close out the cycles that don't work. Acknowledge maybe it's a communication issue or if it's a logistical issue. Deal with them accordingly, but make sure that you're communicating with everyone that you work with in a way that's not going to basically piss people off. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. So, all right, so let's see what's going on with the shadow deck. Oh, I have a little bit of a sore throat, so this reading's a little bit shorter than what I'm usually used to doing, but I can only talk for so long before my throat starts to get me a little bit. Hopefully I don't sound too hoarse. But I feel like this is a pretty straightforward message, which we kind of went through all the cards. Let's see what the shadow deck has for us. Get one more good shuffle in there. Actually, I'm feeling a little bit more. Okay, so here we've got the Three of Wands, the Eight of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so yeah, I think what is being said here is that I think this is saying you need to have a little bit more of a hands-off approach to what you're doing here. Again, if you're right about a situation, drop the ideas to other people to let them know what they need to know to sort of course correct to get this job accomplished, whatever this is for you. But if you drop those hints and then sort of let people do things in their own time, I feel like the Three of Wands here is saying let the environment sort of unfold as it needs to. You know, take control of the situation, but don't get too actively invested in micromanaging every little thing that people are doing. And with the Eight of Cups, this is a card of stepping away from something that might be emotionally difficult for you. So perhaps you feel really invested emotionally in whatever this is that you're the Seven of Wands, this something that is sort of making you feel almost prideful about knowing you're doing the right thing. I think perhaps you need to sort of step away and disengage with that emotionally. Let it sort of unfold naturally. Again, let your thoughts be heard, but sort of step away from it. And I think you'll see with the Wheel of Fortune that when you do that, things will start to unfold as in the way that they need to. And maybe not necessarily in the way that you want them to, maybe not necessarily in the way that you would like them to, but they will unfold in the way that they need to in order for things to get done. And then you can perhaps be a little bit more reactive to other people rather than telling them this is the way it has to be accomplished. And I feel like that might be a more productive way to get done whatever this is that you're working on. Okay, and so here we have the Hermit again. Again, I think take some time to disengage, sort of pull into yourself, be observant of what's going on, and don't be micromanaging. Don't be telling people exactly what you feel they need to hear. Just let people know the things that need to be heard in order to get your task accomplished. Maybe focus a little bit more on your own side of the project too, rather than trying to get everyone else to do things. Maybe just take some time to pull back and whatever your part of this project or task, or again, this feels very much work related. Make sure that you're doing your aspect of this job to the best of your ability, and then have some sort of gentleness when you're letting other people know what they need to be doing. But don't be too controlling about it. Learn to step away from getting into conflicts. Really just focus on trying to get the job done is kind of the vibe I'm getting. So again, a little bit shorter than my usual readings, but I hope this was helpful and or enjoyable. As always, please like and subscribe if you have not already. And if you know anyone that would appreciate this or any of my other videos, please feel free to share them as you see fit. And if you have anything you would like to comment, leave a comment down below, any feedback or thing you just want to share. I'm always happy to hear from all my viewers, and I try to respond to all of you as best I can. But that's all I have for you today, Cancer, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.